All right, welcome back to a little bit of R&R. This should go smoother than the
Cool.
pilot.
Thanks. What's funny is there a way at some point for me to be able to see what we have? Because
Yes.
once again, I don't see the cool framing because I just joined. I didn't join using Streamlabs. So in the future, right? It just gives me a better idea of, like the things you were talking about, right? The backgrounds, but
Actually, so funny you say that. I was about to send you to throw on a separate monitor a
ah,
link.
I don't have a separate monitor right now because I
Oh,
am
you are.
flying solo. Well, if I move this over here so you don't see all the
Mhm.
stuff in my office, then I disconnected it from. I mean, I'm sure I could figure it out. Where is the cord? It's somewhere around here.
We're
Hold
still.
on.
Everybody will
I
be
found
shocked
it.
to know we're still getting our
I still
bugs and
found it.
ducks and all
Well,
that in a row.
let's see what I can do here. You want me to get a separate monitor? I don't. Well, let's see if this works here. Throw it up.
We are very much still a work in progress. I think we can both agree to that. I am Russ Jr. That is Russ Senior. I really like doing this on Fridays because we kind of get to look at the week and
Yeah.
we have everything we could want to talk about, which is really cool. I like that. I kind of get why people do Fridays. I really do, because then you have everything that happened over the weekend, anything that happened. I mean, we didn't have Thursday night games, but if we did, we would have had Thursday night to talk about. Although we don't have a lot NFL to talk about because it wasn't that interesting.
Right. Right.
I mean, I think the first thing we're going to go into is, and obviously Niner fan wearing, oh, you can't see it. Hold on. Come on. Oh, no. There we go. Kittle.
Oh, Kittle. Nice.
Got this from my brother, who will be doing a stream with me on Tuesday. And that'll be cool, too. That'll be a little bit of a different feel. Because
Robbie's awesome.
well, he just brings a completely, like, you and I are way more on the same wavelength than we are with him, which is really cool because he can bring a completely different kind of voice to the discussion. But we are going to compare 49ers Commanders versus Eagles Cardinals. And it's not to dunk on the Eagles. It's really just to look at, because I was thinking about this. The Niners are 4-1 with a game loss to the Ravens. The Eagles are 1-4. And it's just two ships completely passing in the night.
Yeah, I mean,
And you said you watched part of the
I
Eagles
did.
Cardinals.
I watched the whole first half and a little bit of the third quarter, and it was, and I thought, man, when is the Eagles gonna take over? And
Well, because they were up at half, weren't they?
yeah, well, they look strong. I mean, Cardinals were so, I mean, they were doing okay. I don't mean that. I don't mean it in any negative way whatsoever. Just the better team was doing well, right? And then all of a sudden, boom, 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 the wheels kind of fell off for a second. It was like, it was all of a sudden to me, it was like the Eagles kind of shifted into neutral and said, "We got this." And then
When
next
it's
thing you know,
so tough to
Kyler
tell.
starts flinging it all over the place.
With besides the weird, and I get it was a miscommunication with the receiver, but I told Robbie, because we talked about it a little bit, when he threw that 99-yard pick, it wasn't a completion regardless.
Right.
The safety was sitting on it. That wouldn't have been a catch regardless.
Yeah.
So that was a weird decision.
Well, and so to your point, though, at half, they would not have been in the lead without that 99er.
Correct.
So I kept thinking, man, they're allowing the Cardinals to hang around, and you know what happens when that happens, right?
Oh yeah.
And hey, some kudos to Cardinals. They fought, man. They did not lay down at home, right?
I like their coach a lot. I think he's going to be good. But I've been following some because I've delved deeper and deeper into film. Because what's interesting is, Eagles up 21-6. Niners, I think, were only up 13-10. Commanders were playing well. If you're being critical, obviously we weren't getting safety, or not safety, sacks. We weren't getting a lot of pressure, even though he's been sacked the most in the league. There was just a little bit of that, okay, you guys really should win easily, which they did.
Yeah.
So it's this weird tale of two completely different halves.
You always got to wonder what happens at halftime, right? We're not in the locker room, and I don't know. I don't think Kyler, holy smoke. I don't think Shanahan's Mr. Yell at people, but I could certainly see, the dad look from him, like, what, gentlemen, what was that?
Well, he's such a perfectionist. There's a great photo.
Do you want to be the number one seed, or are we just here to,
Oh, dude, he is like there's not a more competitive person in the entire league than Kyle Shanahan. It's actually why, and we'll mention real quick, we're not going to talk 49ers Rams. There's nothing to talk about. It's basically a preseason game. But Kyle is saying, listen, Brock, if you're healthy, I go to the Super Bowl. If you're hurt, we don't have a chance. So guess what? You're in bubble wrap for the next 2 weeks.
And you know, I as a little bit, and I like watching, you know, Brock, you know, not on the field a little bit, what's in his head. He doesn't seem like a guy who's going, I need more records. I need more. No. I want a Super Bowl ring. That's what I want. I want to lead these guys.
Yep.
You know, my guys that literally have my back every time I turn around. I want to lead them Super Bowl.
There's a great photo of Trent Williams, and people joked like, okay, now Brock's going to be on the injury report with a rib injury because of how tight Trent Williams hugged him.
That's good.
But and you know what's funny, because I was watching the game and he was a little uncharacteristically inaccurate, and that tells me like, okay, you're still kind of getting over the last loss because you can't flush it completely. It's still in the back of your mind. But he made a couple tight window throws. We looked at it yesterday as we were kind of prepping for the show. When I was saying also I was getting into film, I follow a channel on Twitter called Honest NFL, and he is ripping. He's not a Niners fan, so you know, Eagles fans, I'm not just saying this to rip your team. He's not even an Eagles fan, but the defense has no identity. The offense is stagnant. Acho kind of talked about it, but I didn't necessarily agree because they ran against us a screen on 3rd and 19 and got it. And he's like, well, you know, you run something that works. It's like, I get it. No one has a 3rd and 19 unless you're Brett Favre. And it's either a pick or a first down. Those are your options. But the fact that they, so late in the season, don't have an identity as a team, if I'm an Eagles fan, I'm a little alarmed. And I'm an old school Eagles fan. I liked him with McNabb. Right. I liked him with Reed. Even T.O. at his divaness was on one ankle against the Patriots. I have to give him his flowers. But you're supposed to be rounding into form. You're not supposed to be, oh, we won a bunch of games and now we're not winning how we won. They could get bounced basically immediately, because I believe they're going to play most likely the Bucs. The Bucs is, and we'll mention some of the like playoff scenarios. I don't think there's a lot of interesting ones outside of the Bills.
Right.
But man, we had to talk about it because like these are two completely different teams who were in the same spot really when they faced. There was only a couple losses apart, and they have gone completely opposite directions since then. It's been alarming.
Yes, they have. Yeah. You know, it's funny. I was trying to find it, but I can't. There was a great. It wasn't a meme, but it was a screenshot of stats on Kansas City. It was, you know, I don't remember how many years. They would have been 8 years in a row now.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they showed the stats 8 years ago.
Yes.
With like Raiders, and then they show it now, and they've all got 15, and Kansas City's got 16. AFC West championship.
And to piggyback off that,
kind of, hey, look, they haven't backed into it, but gosh, if they stumble into it.
And it's a bad division now, and it's not their fault.
A pretty good friend who's a Kansas City fan, and he's. But
yes.
AFC, Ravens. Other than the Ravens, it's a bit of a crapshoot.
Because it was supposed to be the conference of death. Now a bunch of QBs went down. To be fair,
yes, I mean Burrow and
who threw 19 straight completions against the number one defense at the time, the Niners. Like he's a stud. He gets a lot of crap, and I don't know why.
Look, he just wins.
He does.
He's laying flat on his back throwing touchdown passes. So let's be fair, right?
But the Niners are, and I don't remember the exact number. We're 6-0 in divisional rounds. The Patriots are 12-2 in 20 years. Like that's an unheard of pace. So
ridiculous.
Everybody goes through these. Like I get it, Eagles. You had really high hopes, and you still could. Like you're still getting into the playoffs. Let's see what happens.
They're going wild card, right?
Correct.
Dallas is going to end up winning the East.
I think it's still technically up in the air, but that would require. I think the Eagles are playing the Giants. I don't remember who the Cowboys are playing. I'll be honest. Sorry, guys. I don't really follow the other divisions too close, especially now that everything's essentially wrapped up.
Remember, we looked at two different ones yesterday, and it was like,
and what I'm going to do...
You need a Rubik's Cube to figure it out.
I'm going to pull up the playoff scenarios.
I had one other... I thought the Niners, even when it was only 10-10 and a half or 13-10, their execution was still really good. And look, their weapons just showed in the second.
Oh yeah.
Commanders just couldn't hang. Whereas Eagles, I think they seemed very complacent. They seemed like they underestimated Arizona, which Arizona's like 2-12, 2-13, whatever the heck they were.
Oh, dude, they're bad. Why is this not popping up? I'm trying to show the scenarios, please. There we go. Oh, do you see? You can't see. We're gonna navigate away from that screen because it moved my camera. So I will read it instead. More work for behind the scenes. All right,
Exactly.
Part of the blooper
Write
reel.
yourself some notes there, Baba Louie.
Dude, my camera, like, we had R2. First of all, you weren't even there. Go figure. Second, I was like this in the window. So, yeah, we're gonna move on. We're just gonna move on.
You were Wilson.
Oh,
For
dude.
those who remember Toolman.
Funny,
Toolman.
and real quick, behind the scenes for everybody, we tested this yesterday. So
Yes, we did.
this software, I love and hate, because every once in a while, it's like, hey, guess what? I didn't save it.
Yeah.
So,
Pretty funny. Hey, Hey, look, you get if
and
anybody
then he pulls
for the folks that actually
pulls
watch,
his cord out of his headphones.
for the
Hey, guess
folks
what,
that
everybody? We're new to this.
the folks that actually watch, you could take all the free shots you want right now.
Oh, whatever.
Enjoy that. Right?
We're having fun. Dallas clinches with a win, a tie, and Philly loss, or just a Philly loss. I don't see Philly losing to the Giants. Just saying. And then obviously Philly needs Dallas to lose to the Commanders, which I don't see happening. They literally traded away their best defensive lineman. I don't see that happening.
I thought we mentioned this where I heard it on one of the shows, and I don't remember who it was, but they're giving NFL kudos for. It is funny how many conference games don't matter because you have one team in the conference that's pretty good. Everybody's 8. Well, now they're 9-8 or 8-9 down.
Oh, it's
in the NFC
bad.
South. It's like, who doesn't want to win? And then, right?
Oh yeah, that's.
I mean,
painful.
are they all barking for the draft pick? I mean, there is that anyway.
Well, yeah, and actually, I can't wait. We're going to be talking about that next week because it lined up perfectly. We're like, we want to talk Harbaugh,
It is.
so let's talk rookie QBs, the openings, etc.
So did you want to talk about the two phenomenal college games this week?
Well, real quick, the only real playoff scenario I'm going to mention: Bills win, they're in. Bills lose, they're out. That is the only interesting
they need
one.
They need a tornado in Tennessee or some ridiculous.
Correct. It's literally this. You win, you're in. They have to beat Miami, which to me they whooped on Miami. This is a big game for Miami because I don't believe
after getting their head handed to them by the Ravens.
Correct, because then you're going in losing against teams you're going to play, and that's not good. Buffalo, if they don't win, needs Pittsburgh to lose, Jacksonville to lose, Houston and Indianapolis to tie. You win.
Let's play that in Vegas. See how that rolls, right?
No. Good freaking Lord, no.
That ain't happening.
But I want to. You are wearing some Washington gear, so why don't you?
And in fact, if we're really going to go Washington, hold on.
Yeah.
I got to show. You were
my
talking
son
about
loves this hat
in Washington. This hat is probably older than you.
Oh, I'm sure. I remember being 5 and you had that hat, and that was 28 years ago.
So, what's wait a minute, sync backwards. What's kind of funny is, well, it's reversed on my camera. What's kind of funny is my son-in-law is a huge Penn State fan. Grew up in Pittsburgh. So my granddaughter, one of the first pictures I have of her is with this hat on, and I used it on Facebook forever.
Nice.
But hey, I grew up in Seattle. My uncle actually went to the University of Washington. I did not. I had about one semester at Bellevue Community College, unfortunately, and ran out of money. But I am a huge dog fan. College sports. If you want to watch, young men fight and fight emotions and fight
momentum, dude,
circumstances and all of that. To me, most of the college sports are more fun to watch than the pros.
100%.
Like the Frozen Four.
100%.
Hockey.
Yeah.
Oh my word! North Dakota State, right? I mean, come on, right? But hey, NFL is NFL. But
Mm-hmm.
you want to see who's coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's just so many players. Like you and I have talked. I don't even know how. Some of the scouting, like
Yeah.
obviously everybody missed on Brock, which who's gonna
Well,
who's
by the
gonna
way,
do?
real quick, the Niners missed on Brock. If they
Yeah,
really thought he was good, he wouldn't have been the last pick. So let's not.
yeah.
I'm tired of people giving
There
Shanahan
was no
credit.
Ouija board at the Niners
No,
headquarters.
they
Where
got
Ooh,
lucky.
Brock, yeah.
Come on.
So anyway, so back to the Huskies, right? I've watched the Huskies. One of my first live football games was at Husky Stadium, and so you guys don't. Most of you know, Seattle's famous for a couple things. One is rain. So literally, we were on the second row. I can't remember first or 1 through 3. I don't remember. So we're just above. Literally, you can barely see the players on the old Husky Stadium. You could barely see their head because the crown in the stadium was so high on the field because it had to drain the water off the field.
Whoa.
But the crown was like so old Dallas Stadium had the same problem, and that's why if you remember, Brett Favre used to throw it like 6 feet above the down and out guy's head because he was standing literally. And I don't remember what the crown was. You'd have to look it up.
That sounds like backyard football.
Well, when it had the hole in it, you remember the hole in the Dallas Stadium? It was the crown, and Huskies had I think one of the highest crowns in their stadium in the NFL or in the NCAA because you couldn't keep the water off the field. Now, as a Hazen High School in Renton, Washington alumni, actually played football. We had their old AstroTurf field, and I want to tell you something. Anybody that's ever played on AstroTurf, literally, it would. You see those guys with the white tape here.
Yep.
You know why? Because this will roll your skin right off your body. Sure enough, man, I got to play in 2 games as I was only a sophomore. Got to play in 2 games, and I am telling you, the rash you get on an AstroTurf field is this is old, man. And it was actually I don't know how to put this, more tacky when it was wet. You actually had more. It was really slippery until it got wet, and then it was like your feet were glued to it. It was really wild. We actually had AstroTurf shoes to play on it, all of that. So anyway, to the 4 games. So on the Texas Washington game, hey,
that game was so much fun.
Look, Texas comes with a bunch of blue chippers. They've got Sarkisian, which is the former Husky coach.
Hold on, real quick. Isn't that weird?
It is.
Like the way it wraps around.
Yeah,
NFL has
he's been a couple places, and he's really good, right?
Yeah, well, and he has a great story. I'd like to talk about him.
Tough. Their D was, and they, in my opinion, they played really sound football. That was a 1 pass, 1 turnover game. And then I'll tell you what shined for me with the Huskies was their skill players.
Right.
Look, they've got a number 1 pick wideout. They got a number 1 pick quarterback. Their running back went down at the end with the screaming and
which we need to talk. That was a weird play.
Well, I still don't understand it. I watched it and they replayed it, and the guy's laying on and I don't get it. But anyway, Huskies literally. Their D isn't that great. It's just. I mean, if you look at their scores all year, they beat Oregon twice by a total of like 6 points. They even had a dogfight with the Cougs in Eastern Washington for the Apple Cup. I get it. That's like Niners and Cardinals. When Cardinals suck, it doesn't matter, and it comes down to a 1-score game. Why? Because they know each other so well, right?
Oh yeah.
But them to beat Oregon twice was huge, right? I do think. Look, in the NFL, if you've got the old Baltimore defense, you've got Ray Lewis, you've got 85 Bears. You just go, hey, defense over offense every day, right? But with the changes in the rules and the changes where everything favors, don't breathe on the quarterback, can't line up the wide receiver coming across the middle. You really can't. It's really tough to play defense in the NFL. College, they're still smearing each other. They're still cutting people in half as they come across the middle. They're still taking quarterbacks' heads off. I mean, it like old school football, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm the Huskies, right? I'm the Huskies, right? I am worried about Michigan defense. I don't know that I'm not scared of their offense.
I'm not.
So what did you think of the Texas Washington game? And I'll get rid of my dog hat here.
Well, and So first, I'm now officially annoyed, and I might at the end of this show spend a little time to try to fix it real quick because there's some. I really am impressed by Sarkisian in terms of if you hear his story. Like he said, listen, I messed my life up. I was stupid. And the fact that like he's owned it, he's come back. He said, listen, I had work to do. I got lucky. Or even the coordinator, which I don't know if, I know you watched the highlights. It was like watching the Niners or Miami. Yeah. It was a professional level offense. Yep. The shifts, the motion, and Penix. Dude, I get it. I love college football. I'm a USC guy. I love Washington because you love Washington. They're fun to root for. They really are. It's kind of why I root for ASU and U of A is because I'm I'm in Arizona. They're fun to root for.
Right.
But his like shiftiness in the pocket, his ball placement, he to me and me and Rob.
Right. I mean, literally, it went over the defender's ear as the guy is turning his head. It goes like this way, and literally the guy catches it.
Oh,
and he's still caught.
And listen, this is where this is gonna be fun for us in the off season because we're not draft people. We're not. But what's gonna be fun is figuring out. Okay, obviously Marvin Harrison Jr. is considered kind of the number one receiver. How much? And this we won't have a firm answer for you guys. We're not experts, but how much is Penix? How much is those receivers? Because the only thing that bugged me on the pass you're talking about, because it was a slot kind of fade.
He had two. The one that was wide open.
The one I'm talking about where the guy put his arm out and went to look and it was like, boop.
Yes. Oh yeah, that was.
The only thing that annoyed me is listen, if he was a Niner, he would have tried to turn up field because he had a touchdown. He just caught it and went, I can go out of bounds. No, bro. See, that DB's turned around.
Yeah, the other run where he beat number 8, I don't remember who the young man was, but he came back and made the tackle at like a 3.
Yeah.
So, to Texas. Hey, look, we're going to be there a while. I think still recruit like crazy. Sarkisian actually recruited well in Washington, actually. And it's tough to get people to go to Washington, right? I was watching, they were saying, look, they do okay in Washington, obviously. Duh. They do okay in Oregon, as long as somebody doesn't want a Nike shirt at the Nike store in Oregon, right? They do okay, and they're actually doing
by the way,
did
you see Oregon's? Hold on, did you see Oregon's uniforms?
No. Oh well, they only got 12 of them.
Oh, they were.
Just.
Ooh, they were bad, Dad.
Look,
they were.
It sucks, right? But in California, they actually out recruit Northern California because unless you're a 4.0 chipper like Sherman, you're not going to Stanford.
Nope.
Right? You still got to be a student athlete. Southern California, UCLA is chip up and down. Who knows? And then USC is always there. So they do okay in California recruiting, but this will be huge. This will be, with the way they do transfers now and the number, nobody's watching the Huskies on Sunday in the heartland of you're watching Nebraska, you're watching Oklahoma, right?
Right.
You're not going, gee, I want to go be a lineman in Seattle, or I want to be a defensive freak like they got in Michigan, right?
Right.
No, oops, sorry. You want
Earthquake.
You want to stay at home, right? So I think this will be huge for them going forward, right? Because all you need is a junior college transfer at a QB, and all of a sudden you're right back in it, right?
Well, and we had the interesting discussion too, and I think it plays into it, right? Well, and by the way, let's give Texas their flowers. Like no one saw them coming. They haven't been good.
I thought everybody I listened to, and that's not very many. You listen to way more than me. Had picked Texas. And it wasn't by lunch. It was like 3-4 points. It wasn't like they're going to smoke.
But to me, that's the thing we talk about. That's that East Coast bias. Texas has a name. Washington doesn't have the pedigree.
12.
But I think people forget Texas has not actually been that good. We even looked at Michigan's schedule and we're like, East. What was it? East Colorado? Like what?
Carolina.
East Carolina? Like what are you? Who are you playing?
And UNLV really? Or no? Was it UNLV?
It was UNLV. But then part of it, if you actually look at their division or conference, it's not that well. But if you look at their conference, the problem is Indiana's not that big of a deal. Minnesota, Michigan State. So everybody has a couple cupcakes because it pays the little school.
Sure.
But to go back a little bit to Washington, Texas, obviously everybody's going to look at the end of that game. I don't really know why they ran, because I thought they could just kind of kneel out the clock, and then you don't put your running back in a bad spot. That was weird, because it didn't really look like you're going for a first down, because I get if you're going for a first down, you end the game. Got it.
Right.
It didn't look like that to me, so that was weird. But then I'm sorry, we're both defensive guys. The hand on the receiver did not change anything.
Well, he didn't climb him.
Correct. He jumped
certainly
over him.
Woohoo! Right?
Yes. That was, but also
That was
to
a nice
me,
no call, actually.
well, and people are like, oh, that was a bad pass. Don't throw a jump ball. He's 6'4". He should go up. The fact he tried to do the toe touch is why that play happened. If he just goes up, that DB has no shot. But also, great defense by the defender. Weird defense on the drive. That was weird.
Man, I think it was Colin. He's a Northwest guy. Came up. He said, "Look, all year they're heart stoppers. The whole year has been heart stopping."
Yeah.
And he says, "Look, Pennick can score. Huskies can score 2 scores
Correct.
in 8 seconds, right, or whatever he was saying."
Well, and that's why when they play Michigan, if I'm watching it, I know Alabama's still good. Like, they clearly gave them fits.
But hey, look, to that game. Oh, finish your thought. Hold on. Go on.
No, you're fine. I was just gonna say real quick. I actually think Washington wants Michigan more because, listen, Niner fan. He took us to a Super Bowl. He's not that good in big games. I don't know what it is. They make lots of mistakes.
Jim.
Yeah. So I kind of want to play Michigan more because I also don't think their offense is that good. They can run the ball. I don't think their quarterback's that good. And what was your thought on because I don't think we're done on Washington. I was just mentioning who they're going to play. What else stuck out to you from Washington? Because there's so much to talk about from that game.
I thought they're poised on both sides of the ball, even though they're not great, right? They don't have, how many blue chippers they really have. They're going to get more. Trust me. I think this will be huge. But I thought they just played sound, right?
Oh,
and
agreed.
Means good coaching, because they didn't seem to get rattled.
Nope.
Penix, his movement, like you said, his slide in the pocket is.
It was so impressive.
He never had to really bounce out and do something weird.
Right. Now there were a couple weird play calls. They did like a flea flicker at one point, which I get it. That's like, listen, high risk, high reward. You obviously saw something that made you want to call it, but their momentum stalled. People aren't talking about the fact they kicked 2 field goals.
Yeah.
If they get one touchdown, the game's over. So let's not act like it was, because this is something you and I've really tried to be better about. Listen, I was on the Fire Wilkes Niners defensive coordinator train, and I went, you moron. Like, don't do that midseason. 2, it's more complicated than that. So I started watching film. So what I've noticed from fans is they go, oh, they went 0 for 5 on passes. Well, yeah, that happens. Like, sometimes your play call doesn't go the way you think. So
you do a couple 3 and outs.
Yeah, and it sucks. It's frustrating as a fan. But guys, none of us are coaches. We don't know what they saw, and especially when I'm reading a great book, Take Your Eye Off the Ball 2.0, and one of the things they talk about is it's not just, oh, they passed 5 times. Well, it's like, well, but they tried to pass on 1st and 10, got it incomplete. So you're almost forced to pass on 2nd and 10 to make it 3rd and short to run. So we don't always see those things as fans. So the fact to me that they had all the motion, they had all the switches, and it was 5 plays that were kind of iffy is a big deal. That's a really well-coached game.
Yeah. Well, and certainly they seem to, one of the things that I've seen in Huskies is, of the highlights I've seen, because, you don't get to watch the Huskies in Arizona. You get U of A and ASU, right?
Yeah.
Is they seem to make adjustments really fast and really well. So, when they're, and it was, here's the other thing. They've been in dogfights all year.
Yeah.
So I think poise-wise, I don't think the game will be too big for them. I don't think it'll be too big for Penix.
No.
I don't. And by the way, they'll have the same nerves as Michigan, because Michigan literally hasn't really had much. They lost in their Fiesta Bowl last year.
That's what I'm saying. Harbaugh is like over in bowl games.
Yeah.
This is his first win.
As far as their game, though, I thought, hey, look, their front 4 is scary.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like,
They
damn.
had the Alabama guy, and unfortunately, all I got was the highlights, right?
Yeah.
So it's always
I also didn't watch it.
third and a mile,
I was following a guy who's also a Niners content creator, Wayne Breezy, cool dude.
right?
Actually does some Niners raps, which is pretty funny. But he was like, "What are you doing? What special teams? Oh, this is the ghost of Kyle Williams." It was pretty funny. So I'm almost glad I didn't, because I got to watch him lose his mind in real time.
Yep.
But it was close at the end, and I couldn't find it, because the quarterback sneak at the end, we talk about, people are like, terrible play call. But if you look at the back, right behind the quarterback,
right,
and you mentioned this, I didn't know this.
What I had was from that angle, by the way, and the commentator was a Michigan guy. He was screaming the whole time. He was losing it, right? But I'll tell you, Alabama, I don't know how many low snaps they had, and I only
you were saying that.
I think it was at least 4. They almost rolled one between his legs.
Oh,
and to your point on the 4th and goal, it was a low snap, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm so mad I couldn't find it.
Look, it was surprising to me. They looked, the old discombobulated,
which is weird. It's Alabama.
I mean, that's the man, right? But they looked rattled, and I don't think it was because of Michigan.
No. Well, actually, I want to see, because we looked at Michigan. I didn't even think to look at Alabama's schedule, because
they lost to somebody early, and I think it's Ole Miss or somebody.
They lost to Texas.
So that's what.
I'm sorry.
On the map.
I'm sorry. Game 1, they beat Mississippi State. Lost by 1 to LSU. Whooped on Auburn. Auburn's not very good. Lost to Texas. I'm just trying to find the losses.
The top 4, and they had 2 losses. Is that what you're saying?
And we'll get into this.
Why wasn't it Georgia?
It's a great question.
Wow, I did not look. Apparently, I'm a little dyslexic or something. We would have talked about this a long time ago.
I know why. They beat Georgia. I just saw it. They beat Georgia, and I think to win the conference.
In the conference championship. Mm-hmm. That's right. So anyway, and then I thought their execution was mixed. I didn't see anything that I went, ooh, scary. Right. And if I'm Michigan, and they were in it literally down to the last play. So on Michigan, I had, they got athletes. They got, I don't know what their schemes are in the back in the secondary.
Did you watch that video I sent you? The breakdown?
No, I didn't get. You sent it on my YouTube. I was trying to fix. I'm living on the bookcase.
You're fine. Let me recap, because I did it because I didn't watch the game. I haven't watched all of college football.
Right.
But they talk about Jim literally built a team to beat Ohio State.
Right.
So he went defense, which, dude, Niners. Hello, Jim.
Yep.
And actually, I don't mean this as an insult. Their quarterback reminds me of Jimmy Garoppolo. Just don't come at me. But it actually fits really well what Washington's trying to do. Really great quarterback.
Yep.
Really great wide receivers. So to me, they're actually, if we're using a comparison for the NFL, they remind me of the Cleveland Browns or the Baltimore Ravens. And Flacco is way better than what Cleveland had at the time. But if I'm talking about when they played the Niners, because that's my frame of reference, they can play man across the board. Right. They can rush 4. That's a huge deal against a really explosive offense.
By the way, they did blitz against Alabama.
Yeah.
They usually and it was a late blitz. They would read the offensive blocking scheme.
Yep.
And then try to get to the open spot, and they were fast, right?
You would love that video, even if you have time later today, because he talks about actually their stunt game is fantastic. What you're talking about, messing with protection. Again, it reminds me of an NFL team. It's a very elite, high caliber scheme, which is impressive.
Right. And they've got some ginormous dude at middle linebacker. But anyway, I on offense though, I think they're fairly pedestrian.
Same.
They run really well. I don't know if the Huskies have a good run defense. I doubt it.
Again, why do you think I'm comparing them to the Niners? They're the 2019 Niners.
And their pass is just okay. But here's what I would say: Alabama had people open all day. Right? He just couldn't get it to him.
I'm not impressed by any Alabama quarterback. I love Tua. He's the best.
Yeah. Right? And if you look at the Huskies, they've had, a few.
I actually want to see real quick where they rank. Because what's cool is, actually, the video showed me, and it was interesting. Their defense is really good. Their offense is just kind of meh. Oh, dude. So this year they score 36 points a game, 500 yards a game. Their other teams score 10.
Right.
Now we looked at their schedule. I think this is inflated a little bit.
Like 37, 33.
Dude, their total defense is like 70th.
Yeah, it's not.
It's like wow, but
they outscore people basically.
But if you look at also their schedule, I think it's a little. Let's be honest, it's a little inflated. And I'm a Jim Harbaugh fan. I like Michigan.
Oh, Michigan. Yeah. When I pulled it up, I'm like Rutgers.
Yeah.
North Carolina.
Well, and even people in your division aren't very good. So I don't actually know
where the
how
Pac-10
good
this
they
year,
are.
Or Pac-12, right? You still got Utah.
Pour one out for the Pac-12.
USC. Huh?
Pour one out for the Pac-12. It's now the Pac-4.
Pac-4 or whatever, yeah. But look, we could have a whole show on. You and I talked about it, right? I don't understand the NIL thing.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get into that. We need to learn
of the big divisions. I know it's all money. It's all Pac-12 TV. It's all. I get all of that. If I make those changes, I don't know. I don't know that I make them. But so I think Michigan's probably favored by 4 is what I would bet. I bet that's the line. I think it'll be a dogfight. And as long as my Huskies play well, if they win, I am going to wear my Huskies hat. I'm going to probably wear it tomorrow morning anyway to my men's group. But to me, it's just represent, right? It's just you're going up against a Michigan team with all kinds of high draft NFL guys. And if you're the Huskies, you got 2 probably. I don't know linemen, right? The number of linemen that have been drafted from Washington is actually pretty high if you look overall over the years. Yeah, it's actually not bad.
That's weird.
There's not as many there's 1 or 2 defenders a year end up there. But they, hey, look, Napoleon Kaufman went there, right? I mean, there's some. They've had running backs. They've had Warren Moon. They've had you don't remember Sonny Six Killer back in the day.
Wait. Warren Moon played for Washington and played for Seattle.
He did, and he won.
That's hilarious.
He won the Rose Bowl. He actually went. I think he went to Canada to play first, and then he came back and played for Seattle. I think. But he won the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, real quick. I want you. Thankfully, I looked it up, and then the website's like, disable your ad blocker. I'm like, no. But I have his record.
No, thank you.
I have his record. His record as Michigan head coach, overall bowl record, and his first 2 games as Michigan head coach in bowl games. I would like for you to give me his overall bowl record. It's 9 total games. Total?
I would probably say like 3-6.
Close, 2-7.
That's worse.
1-6 as Michigan's head coach, 0 for 2 to start.
Gee Louise.
That's why he switched his defense. And this is why, we talk about it. Matchups make fights. It's a cliche, but this is the classic Patriots versus Rams in the Super Bowl, where to your point, the defense won that. 17-14. You slowed down the greatest show on turf. I think the other thing that is in a weird way, in my opinion.
Belichick.
Yeah. Which off topic, but funny.
Defense guy.
I saw a video title, Sith Lord's Last Ride. It's like, that fits. But
so good.
But no, copyright strike. Stop it. No, stop it.
Oh, for Belichick, it would be great if he's walking out of the podium and that's his.
Yeah, he got the hood.
Like they do. What do they call it? The walk-up tune.
Yes, yes.
As he walks up to the podium.
I would love for him to do. I'm just here not to get fined.
What?
I would love it if he went. I'm just here not to get fined.
Oh, I know. For our favorite Sean.
But dude, I love Marshawn Lynch.
Well, and with him and anyone else, right? Who did his interview for him so he wouldn't get fined?
I think it was Sherman.
Sherman? Was it Sherman?
I think so, because they were good buddies. They're still good buddies.
Sherman could talk. Look, you could say a lot of stuff about Sherman. That man has a line for every day of the week. He's a 4-0. Look, everybody forgets he was a 4-0 Stanford guy.
Yeah, and he went through his own personal demons, and if you're in the spotlight, it's going to show up. The fact, and Rabbit Trail on topic, I will give Skip Bayless for bringing him
I
and
like
Keyshawn
him
on.
these days. I didn't like him originally at all, but I like him better.
He
today.
seems to have mellowed. I think what happened with Shannon kind of made him go, okay, I need to chill a little bit, because I do think he really genuinely likes Shannon Sharp, and I think he regrets. He won't say it, but I think he regrets how everything went down, because that's where his shtick and character got in the way of a legit friendship.
Yes. Yeah, look, Shannon's thick as thieves with his bros. So.
Oh yeah, and I like Shannon.
Like him
there's
and
some
Ocho
things I don't
are
like.
hilarious. I watched them more than I watched anybody else.
Ocho is so quiet. It's weird.
So chill.
It's weird.
But when he jumps in, it's like usually like 3 expletives. Just to make sure you're listening, right? It's like F this swat, and you're like, "Whoa, okay."
But
I wasn't paying attention, but I am now.
But on the championship game, to get us, back on topic. But by the way, proud of us. We're making good time. We're doing good. We're doing good. Yeah.
Without a timekeeper in the background going.
I actually found I had a timer open. I was checking on it, but I just found it does tell me how long we've been live. We're at 41 minutes, so we are killing it. I love it. And it'll give me a little bit of time. I'm so sorry, people on the stream. I want to share some videos, so I'm going to take 2-3 minutes when we get there to just try to real quick get it to work. If I don't, we'll save it for next time. I don't want to.
I love it. We're giving them the disqualifier up front. We
not
make this work.
Because they're funny. Literally, there's going to always be a segment in the show because my dad does, and I've told him not watch national media because some of it is hilarious.
Yes.
And I want to get the blind react.
Well, so you know who I watch. I watch Pat if I got time, and I don't watch Pat. An hour and a half of Pat. Right? I'll fast through Pat. I do like Shannon, and and one of the reasons I did is because he's a huge player guy, and I'm a
he came out in spades for Russell Wilson.
He did.
Which, by the way, the NFLPA and the NFL are coming out for Russell Wilson. So they goofed. They done goofed.
Yeah. Anyway. But so of those two guys, and then I did watch the guy I told you that, and I won't name the guy because I literally I didn't like him at all, and his compadre. I do like who's the where it says world's greatest dad on his mic.
Dan
Patrick.
Oh, I love Dan Patrick.
I love Dan. Okay, so I watched
him and Rich Eisen. I actually really like.
Oh no, it was Rich. I watched both of them, but it was Dan that I actually watched. He was talking about where does Russell go next? I did watch that. Which,
if I can't get the videos to work, I'm going to bring up something with you. If not, if it does work, what we'll do is we'll move it to another, because I want to hear. And don't start. I'm just saying this will be a topic. So hold your horses. Should the fumble in the end zone be a turnover? I still think it should be. Rich does not. Thinks it's the stupidest rule. I think it's an interesting discussion.
Well, I'll tell you the one that's stupid, right? That nobody actually remembers is the push. So back in the day, football, that was illegal.
Correct. I thought it still was.
Push somebody forward.
Yeah, I thought it was. 2005, they got rid of the rule.
Push or whatever they're calling it now. I think it's stupid as not almost said a word, right? I think it's just stupid. It's this isn't rugby, for goodness sakes. It's football, man.
Thank you for another topic, because if I can get you, I put. So if you hear me clicky clacking, I have a very loud keyboard, and I love my loud keyboard. But you're gonna hear my loud keyboard. I went to put tush push and push tush pack. That is not the same thing.
That's not.
Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna call it
program.
Stupid rules. Tush push, fumble out of end zone.
Fumble in the end zone.
No.
Explain. Oh, you want to talk about it? I thought.
No.
Oh no. Okay. In case.
If
that's
my
backup topic
stuff,
gotcha.
Normally starts with an S, ends with a hit, doesn't work. Then we'll do that. But
let's do that.
On Michigan, Washington, because obviously we kind of have to predict. In a weird way, I think Michigan has an advantage because defense travels really well, and if you've not played a defense like that,
where are they playing?
Yeah, that's an excellent question.
I did not look. I did not look.
Championship game.
Shame on me.
NC.
That's Monday too, right? Monday night.
Yeah. Monday night. Smart, by the way, of college to do those on Monday night, because then you're just not fighting with anybody.
Well, not only that, you've already got a whole audience that's been watching Monday night something.
Although pet peeve, and I'd like to talk about this in the off season, because I'm biased. I love the Rose Bowl. I'd love them to do kind of like they do with NFL stadiums, is to change which bowl game.
They did.
Rose Bowl is basically like a semifinal game.
Well, they were rotating them when it first all started, and I thought that was a great idea.
Same.
You had the big four. You had Orange.
Houston, Texas is where it's being played. Excuse me.
Oh, so okay. So they had, I think it was Rose, Orange, Sugar, and I'm blanking on the fourth one, but they were rotating them.
Oh, are they? Oh, maybe I'm wrong.
No, they were at the beginning. At the very beginning, they rotated them. So the Rose Bowl got national championship one year, for example. Anyway.
Do they call? We'll worry about this later. Do they call that a bowl game, or is it just a national championship?
Used to be a bowl game, but anymore, who knows?
Maybe that's what's changed
when
they
you know
turned
what's
into a
funny,
playoff.
and we won't get into this, but the number of really outstanding ideas for playoffs, and I don't have one, so I'm not going to offer one. But man, there's at least 3 that I heard that literally were off the cuff this year, and I went, dang, that's smart, right? So much smarter sports heads than me already go, hey, if we did this, this, and this, right? Now, the problem was originally when they proposed that, it was very dependent upon the conferences still, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you ended up with a Boise State that was super good, well, WAC didn't have a seat at the table back then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's having the Western Athletic Conference, right?
Right.
So and then when you had people moving around like you had at large forever, which is Notre Dame, right? And then I think, did Penn State move? Somebody moved, and that was the start of the woohoo! Everybody.
Oh, it's gotten weird,
right? So anyway, so when one of the first proposals for the playoffs was very, very conference dependent, and when the conferences moved, it all went whoop right out the window. So then you end up with and I think the guys that run this thing, behind the scenes with the smoky room with the cigars and scotch, I think there's too much money, power, prestige, all of that, and for them to do something different when the conferences, I thought the Pac-12 for the first time in a long time actually had some horsepower this year, and they literally just
torpedoed it,
gave it up, just
real quick.
I mean, go ahead.
So, and you're gonna kick yourself because one of the bowls you forgot is here in Arizona.
Fiesta Bowl.
Oh, you said that? Did I miss it?
No, it wasn't one of the top 4 originally.
Rose, Sugar, Fiesta, Orange, and they were rotating. Now the national championship has become its own thing, and those bowl games are semifinal games, which I hate. I hate that. I think that's dumb.
Look, 1 year they've got to go, okay, let's just rip off the Band-Aid and fix it. With all the conferences going every which way, I think this would be a good year to do it. Look, don't ask me what it should look like. I am not that guy.
I have bad news for you. I'm putting a topic where we're going to try to come up with ideas.
Okay. Well, ideas is one thing, but actually making it all work, you need the computer whiz, which is my son. And
well, like we'll rabbit because what's cool is because we behaved. We're on time, so there's time to rabbit trail a little bit.
Boy. Oh boy!
But I hate now the March Madness. They've added way too many teams. I don't want to see the same thing happen to the playoffs.
Basketball, right?
Yes,
yeah, well,
that's gotten insane.
Well, look, it started to go completely haywire with the one and dones.
Yes, that's true. Well, actually, kind of, because what I liked about that is it let teams
had that thing wired, right?
Well, but that introduced a cool element in that teams that were together for 4 years and were from not as powerful of conferences.
Where did
I don't remember. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Davidson,
yes. Yeah. Which actually wasn't that Steph at the time?
Here. Huh?
Wasn't that Steph Curry when he was still in college?
No, that's why. Exactly.
So that is one thing I did like about
Steph Curry. You can't just be Davidson. You got to have a guy that could fill it up from the bench.
Right. So, but to go back to the championship game, I think Michigan has the advantage because your defense travels. Washington has not played any defense like that, which makes it tough. However, I think vice versa, Michigan has not played an offense like Washington.
No.
So now the only fear I have, and we know this, we're Pac-12 people, but man, when Oregon went and played, I think it was Alabama, and the speed just got destroyed because they could not keep up with the fact that the linemen were twice the size of them.
Michigan's, you know what? They're strong. I think they're. To your point, they are Clydesdales, not thoroughbreds. Now, I do think their secondary is not way better than Texas. I don't know because I watched the Alabama stuff, and Alabama had people open. the guy too busy trying to pick the football up to the ground.
Well,
And then,
and also
you know what I
Alabama
mean?
can't recruit
You know,
quarterbacks. It's
I
weird.
hate to say this. He reminded me of Tua or Kyle when they start freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it looked like. And that camera was that one on the field, the floating one.
Yeah.
So it's always right here behind his head. And I'm telling you what, it was chaos back there.
Right.
They could not. I don't know. Hey, look, I'm hoping that Washington's front five are better than and the running back can pick up the blitzer. If they do that, I think they have every chance in the world to actually beat Michigan and beat them by 10. If they can, if they make a pocket, I think Michigan's in deep trouble. Because here's the deal: you said it yesterday. They can't run. I don't think they can run. And what I mean by run, my camera's all jacked. I don't think they can run speed of score.
Right.
With the Huskies. So if Pennick gets time, they're going to start rushing 12 people, right? They have to, because otherwise it's
which is a huge mistake. That's not. And actually, this is why this is my frame of reference. I'm so sorry if you're going to get if you're listening.
Watch out.
If you're listening, and every time I compare it to a Niners, I'm sorry. That's my frame of reference. But
way better.
It reminds me so much of 2019 Niners, where they ran for 250 yards on Green Bay. But we threw it 13 times in 3 games. So Michigan, I think, is going to have the same problem. Cool. You ran for 300 yards and scored 14 points.
Exactly. Or
cool.
Worse,
good for you.
Or worse, 13.
Yes. Yes.
2 field goals in a, so.
And we lost 21 to 13.
Huskies are a bend not break. I'm not.
They kind of are. If you watch, especially against Texas, where they seem to excel was once you get into that tight area where you have to be super precise, you have to have the right play call. There was a great, and there was also a couple weird calls. Texas threw a weird swing pass that went for 0 yards. I'm like, what is that?
Right.
But there was a great blitz off the edge that Washington called that really screwed them up. So it is going to be a chess match.
Yeah.
I just think if you're Michigan, unfortunately, what you do well, if you're leading, is great. If you're losing, is like, well, but this is going to take us 8 minutes to maybe get a field goal. Well, that's not very helpful. Right. You don't have, like, we talked about Penix in 2 plays, 14 points. It's like, well, okay, they had the ball. You have the ball 30 minutes there, 18, and you're losing by 12. Like, that doesn't help Michigan.
Yeah, and just to broadcast ahead of time for all those people that are watching, the 3 of us watching. I'm kidding. I probably won't watch the game.
Oh, yeah.
My ticker probably can't. I have a healthy heart. Are you
going to record it?
I don't know. I don't know if I can because it's on regular TV.
Well, because what I'm going to do for the playoffs, and I am a let's just say I'm Captain Jack Sparrow. Let's just I will be for the playoffs, and I do this every year. Is I'll get like YouTube TV so that I can watch everything and not deal with delays and weirdness.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will be. I will be Jack Sparrowing the championship game.
Yeah. So as we said last week, right? I am all into watching teams that I don't necessarily care who wins. I usually end up caring about one of the teams, right? I ended up being my dad, rooting for the underdog almost every time, which is hilarious because that was my dad. Well, my dad's still here. I don't mean was, but Seahawks still have a shot at the playoffs.
Yes, actually, here let me bring it up real quick.
If it ain't my Seahawks, right? If it's Cardinals Niners, they are my second favorite team. Which
you're struggling though because the whole Russell Wilson thing.
Well, they screwed that up and put them in the same division. It just ruined my whole life.
Okay, you guys don't have a great shot because you're really dependent on Green Bay. You ready? You're going to play Arizona.
Sure.
To clinch, you need a win plus Green Bay loss or tie. If you tie, you need Green Bay to lose and Tampa Bay to lose, or Green Bay to lose and New Orleans to lose.
This is almost the Buffalo scenario.
And Green Bay's playing Chicago, and I'm not saying that's an easy win. Justin Fields is playing well. Detroit did the same.
5-1 or something.
I don't know actually.
Started out like 4 or something, and I think. No, he's like 5-3. Sorry.
Yeah, but same thing happened to Green Bay last year.
Are they playing in Chicago?
No, because it's versus Chicago, so that tells me it's a home game.
What the weather's going to be like.
That's a great
Those
question.
are the best games. I love those games.
See,
I love snow games where
oh,
they've
we're
got the
gonna make
snow
a new
blower
topic.
for the lines.
See, I want every game to be indoors because what I want to see is the best of your. Hold on. Well, this will be an off-season topic too. Let me give you my 10-second spit.
Completely disagree, but that's
Perfect. Yay.
so disagree.
Perfect.
I hate domes, and I grew up in Seattle.
Yay.
Kingdom was a mausoleum.
Hold on. Which is
Rather
better?
than playing sloggy, wet. I don't remember playing a football game that was dry.
Well, see, listen, I think this is interesting because I think part of it for you is obviously coming from Washington. Like, that's what you grew up with.
Yeah, but they had the Kingdom, so they were indoor. They were.
No, I know, but like you played football in weather.
Yes, I did.
Now,
look. Hey, look. To be fair to any of you football fans that have played in the snow, I played one game that the field was literally frozen. I couldn't get my shoes off after the game. Normally, it was wet, muddy. It wasn't frozen. It was just cold and wet. It was not like playing in Nebraska,
right?
Or you know what I mean. When you're playing in Wisconsin and they're blowing the snow off the lines, that's a different ballgame right there.
Well, we have famously the tuck rule, Patriots versus Raiders. We have Chicago games where the ball literally goes sideways because of the wind.
Wasn't it Leon Lett that
yes, fumble
slid through the snow, right?
Mm-hmm. He's also famously fumbled multiple. Anyway, but 10-second pitch. Why I like it is I want to see absolute because people are like, well, but indoor favors offense. Well, kind of. If you actually watch, especially for defense, a bad field makes playing defense very hard because you can't cut. So
absolutely. They know where they're going. You don't know where you're going.
Now, it was fun to watch Niners whoop on Washington when it was raining because some of the celebrations were very fun.
One of the best Niners victories, in my era was going to Lambeau and beating them in Lambeau when it was like 23 and snowing.
Yeah, and then just last year or the year before, it had to have been the year before, we beat them on a block punt because it was miserable. But I want to see your very best versus the very best.
Super Bowl, they do that in Super Bowl, right? They put it in either a dome or the best.
I think they've learned because there's definitely been some that have been.
Super Bowl this year?
I think Vegas. I think it's Vegas.
No, seriously?
I think it's Vegas.
Well, I ain't going regardless, but.
Oh yeah, I can't afford that. Sorry. I thought it was Vegas. We got a minute. Yep, Vegas. On 3333 Al Davis Way.
Jeez.
Okay, real quick. Prediction for the game. I think Washington wins, personally, because I think their offense is powerful enough that they're going to have the same problem the Niners did. One throw from Mahomes, they get the lead. Niners can't sustain a drive to get the lead back. I will say... Ooh, score. You do your prediction. I want to think about the score because I'm actually not sure what the score is going to be.
I'm thinking like 27-21. That's what I'm thinking. Huskies.
I'm going to say because I think Michigan's defense will play pretty stout, but their offense is going to have the problem we talked about. I'm going to say like 21-13 because I just don't believe because I get it. People are like, well, they're going to run all day. Again, good luck. Have fun. Run all day in Washington. If you are not scoring touchdowns, I don't care.
You know what? There was a game. I was trying to remember it, and dude, they had. Well, look, did you see the stats on the Niners Ravens game?
Yeah, that game was weird.
Niners had like 120 more yards than the Ravens.
Yes.
They just got to the end and gave it, and tipped a pass to the wrong team. You know what I mean?
Right.
They literally outgained them. Had more first downs, more time of possession. It was really, if you didn't know the final score, look, five turnovers, you lose. It's stop, right? Stop. I'm not even sure. I think in the NBA you lose with 5 turnovers. But anyway, right? My point being, it wasn't nearly as lopsided as everybody wanted to, point it out to be. And I was like, wow, I didn't even realize.
Well, remember I told you predicting or analyzing a game where there's turnovers is impossible. I don't know how you I don't even know what you take away from those games if I'm being honest.
Well, look, you know what? A lot of people make a big deal about teams that work on turnovers, punching the ball, on and on and on, right? But you do have to be in the right place at the right time. You do have to be a little fortunate.
Right.
I'm tired of people saying, "Oh, they got lucky." Guess what? To win the Super Bowl, there's plenty of games where you got lucky.
Right.
Sorry. There's games you should have lost. A year before you would have lost, and then that game you won because the ball bounced a different way. Went through the receiver's hands, bounced on a punt. Anyway, so I'm thinking they're going to score. I think they're going to be in the 20s, mid 20s to high 20s, and I believe Michigan will be in the low 20s. I think that's what I think. Yeah, and Michigan might win. I mean, they're definitely a horse to reckon with, right?
Right. So
anyway, so what are these videos you're going to?
I'm very excited.
Will I be able to see them? Is the big question.
You are going to have to go to the stream. So hold on, and I put it in our show notes. I'm trying. I got your camera to show up, which is super duper cool. But I'm trying to figure out how to resize it because
I can't get my other monitor to be dual monitor thing because I didn't do it when I first started, and I just plugged the dang thing in. So now it's the same over here as it over here as it is.
Yeah, there we go. Hold on.
Duplicate screen. God, I look like a coach or something. That's kind of weird. They don't want me as a coach. I'm over. I haven't won a game.
I'm trying. Son of a biscuit. Hold on. I apologize for the dead air, but
please hold for technical difficulties.
Well, it's really bizarre. So it won't let me adjust, which is really weird. I can adjust your... Oop, no, don't do that. Russell, stop touching. It won't let me edit.
Monday is Black Monday, right?
I think so. So I apologize to everybody in the stream viewers. Aha! There we go. Can't do it in studio mode. Figured it out. So I put the stream in our show notes. So if you could do me a favor,
okay,
and click that, and then we're going to...
What is that?
Screen capture. We are going to change that to that. We are going to grab one of our links. I will have this set up a little bit better next time. So, did you click on the first one?
Oh, well, wait a minute. The problem is it says, Dad, don't click these.
Well, actually, did you go to our stream?
Stream? What's a stream?
So, in a little bit of R&R,
yes,
there's a link to YouTube. Right below where I give you the link to join us, which I probably shouldn't have shown on stream. So we'll be changing that. There is a link to the live stream that we're doing right now where you can actually... Hopefully.
Oh, is that the one that's highlighted where it says YouTube?
Yeah.
What do you want to do with it?
Just click it. Oh. I don't even care if you... oh, my camera's a little off. Whatever. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. But this is our first time using this because I want to show... Every episode, I want my dad to react to things he's not seen, which is going to be fun. These are not... This one's actually kind of a happy one, in my opinion. So, let me know when you can see our stream.
Oops, shoot. I just deleted it. That's not good.
Oh, that's funny. In fact, let me go back here so that way I can look at things. Hold on. Undo. No, won't let me. All right, hold on. We're getting there, everybody. Okay, I pasted it back in. Go ahead.
So what do I do with it?
Just open a new tab and click on it. Make sure your sound is on.
All right. I got you.
Then I'm going to change screens. And do you see a Twitter link? Or like a window where it says, watching this, how can you fire head coach Matt Eberflus?
I do.
Perfect. Make sure your sound is on. This is only a minute. The stream will be able to hear it too.
Here's the one challenge that in my headset, because the live stream is delayed slightly, I get like you echoed, so I don't know how to fix that.
Well, I don't know if I have there might be a setting that the buffer, but really what matters is the interaction with these players.
Okay. Yep. Let's go, Bay. Hey, Bay, let's go, man. You got it now. Hey, Governor, let's go, man. Turn it up a little bit. You got it. You got it.
Yeah, I have it a little quiet. I'm not sure why. I'm gonna let the whole thing play because I think it's worth it. The fact he has nicknames for every single player, and they're not just like humoring him. What's your thoughts? Oh, now your camera is slightly off-centered. Oh, no, the wheels in the bus are falling off here. Okay, let's fix that. Oh, no. Oh, no. Fixed it. Okay. What's your thoughts on Mr. Eberflus?
I think... Hold on. I got two audios going. I got to fix it. It's killing me here.
Yeah, that would make my brain explode.
Yeah, exactly. So, look, when I played Pee Wee football, everybody had a nickname.
Mm-hmm.
Coach never called you by your name. Should have probably been on your jersey. The number of times I got yelled at, right? And
mm-hmm.
you know, and when the coach said Ripley, it was usually not good, right? So if they said Rip, if he said, you know, all these other stuff, it was usually okay.
Right.
So you know, lack of a better way of putting it, in terms of endearment, right? Especially if there was meaningful, right? If I knew something in your life that created the nickname, right? So it's funny. My wife actually was married to an NBA or Major League Baseball player. Her husband passed away, or ex-husband, 2 years ago from COVID. I am not joking. At the memorial service, they still referred to one of his best friends by his nickname.
That's awesome.
The guy is 50 something, right? I mean, I'm 63, so he had to be close to 60 something. I won't say the nickname because people will know who it is. And
right.
I'm not going to let my wife hasn't said, hey, you can talk about me on there.
Correct.
I'm not doing that. But it was hilarious. I sat there and I looked at her and she goes, that's his nickname. Rick, her husband called him that from like college. So to me, if the coach really knows them, and it's okay, right? You don't. Not everyone. I'm sure not everyone is copacetic with the nicknames, right?
I don't know. That was what struck me about the clip. Is every single guy.
Yeah.
There was just this like, hey, what's up, coach? You know, it wasn't
recognition.
Because a big thing to me is, in my opinion, I can tell when you're humoring me.
Yeah.
That felt like, no, like, this is coach, right? Yeah. What's up, coach?
Well, you know who would be interesting on that one? Would be Rob.
Oh, yeah.
Because he coached 2 years at Fountain Hills with varsity players, and he had nicknames, and Rob is a huge, so for those of you who don't know, Rob is Russ's brother. He is the quintessential. You and I are a little bit of loners, a little bit of lone wolf. He is a quintessential team player. He just absolutely is. One of the favorite lines I've had from Rob ever is he played for a high school team that went undefeated, and we were at the celebration after he won, and he looked at me and he goes, "Dad, I'm kind of sad." I'm like, "Why?" And he goes, "Because there's no more games." Because he enjoyed so much of the team and being part of the team and part of the play and giving your all. And they'd been fighting since summer. It was basketball, so they'd been literally started in July on special workouts and stuff. So anyway, he would be one to ask on the whole. That I'd be very interested to see what Rob thought. Very interesting.
Let me bookmark that for Rob as well. And this is
I
what's
think
fun.
It's cool. I do think it's cool. You know, I haven't had a nickname in a long time, right? That people would actually tell me, right? I'm sure there's nicknames for me. I just retired after 43 years at a company, and I'm sure people call me stuff on occasion, good and bad. Although, hey, to be fair, what's something kind of cool? I don't have it. I'm sure my wife put it away, but they sent me an ornament and said, "Don't underestimate the impact you have."
Nice. So now,
I thought, man, woo, that was big.
Now, please return to the stream.
Oh, okay.
Let me know when you see the video, because obviously, and I'll figure that out. I understand why there is a delay, because it's, you know, I don't care if we curse, but, you know, one of the things I like about another show, Gold Standard Podcast Network, follow it. They will edit out curse words when because they want you to be able to watch with your kids. Now, obviously, in the stream, you can't necessarily take care of that, but afterwards, they like to be able to do that. So I'm going to hit play. You just let me know when you can hear the video and when it ends. I will sit quietly.
It's an acronym that stands for Let a Naysayer Know. Being told by his former offensive coordinator, Bill O'Brien. That is not what I thought. Is that not what you thought? Boy, let a naysayer know. Let a naysayer know. Of course. The professional's right in the middle of his...
Is there any way for you to turn that up?
I was actually wondering why it's so quiet. It's all the way up.
Oh.
Another thing for my list.
That's what we thought the whole time. That's what we all thought. Jalen Milroe often wears it.
I'm not sure I caught the joke.
Well, they I must have. Oh, hold on.
Because I didn't turn up my volume right now, and you and I are screaming at each other in my head until about halfway through it.
So there's a word that you and I, as white people,
oh no,
don't say.
Oh Lord, are you kidding me?
No. That's the joke. They were like, "Are you about to say a certain word?" Because that's his like brand.
Not Pat, but the guy.
That's why he said, "Oh yeah, that's not at all where I thought you were going with that."
Wow.
It's one of the funniest clips because, again, we're listen, mayonnaise white. That's not in our vocabulary. Okay, it's just not. It's not a word.
Well, and you know what? And I will tell you, look, there's. I grew up a long time ago. Had a really good friend whose dad was, unfortunately, referred to everybody by their ethnic origin in not a good way. And my mom was super hypersensitive to it. Right? She didn't know this guy. I'm just saying. So at home, I'm getting the super hypersensitive to racial slurs of any kind, because my granddad would he was older. And he just referred to the guy as the Chinaman, and my mom would just flip, right? Anyway, so now my literally best friend, his dad is literally, you know, and I mean derogatory ways, and I was just like, man, this doesn't make sense to me, right? I mean, now look, my high school I think had 2 black guys in the whole high school. I knew both of them, right?
Right.
They played football, and I knew them and all that. So I you know, zero exposure really. But then when I moved to California, and my first territory was San Francisco, and my second territory was Oakland, I got baptism by fire on on language that I'd never heard 2 black guys refer to each other that way before. And they're dropping it like over and over again, and I just stood there. I'm just like, I'm pretty sure I can't say that. I'm pretty sure it'd be a different reaction if I said that. you know, because I'm 20. I think I was 22, 23 years old, right? And I just it was one of those moments, you know. They're very creative with it, right? They're very creative, ribbing each other using all kinds of interesting quotes that only they're able to. And by the way, it holds true to other ethnicities, that they have some inside jokes that I'm going to tell you I miss. I'm like, I'm not sure I think that's funny. Two, I'm sure it wouldn't be very funny if I said it. And what's even funnier is how uncomfortable I probably look.
Yeah.
To those businessmen even were doing it a little bit. I remember being at one of the largest law firms in Oakland, and almost every attorney in there was African American, right? And some of their humor, right over my head. I was 20, 22, 24, something like that. And of course they've been to college. They're partners. So how old are they?
Right.
And this is early 80s. Okay. So these guys are very successful. I mean, there's more money in their suit than I made in probably 6 months. Right. And, but the banter that you're talking about, I just didn't understand it.
Hey, there's worse things, right? Because the one I always hear is, well, I said it in a moment of emotion. You're like, but why is that a reflex?
Well, what is the line? Out of the heart, the mouth speaks.
I have one more because I accidentally copied the same link twice.
What I was trying to do is mute this one, that our Streamlab one, and then go over to the other one so I don't get this. Woo-woo.
This one's nice because it is just a picture, and I want you to just take a look at it and see if there's anything you see that's. Again, I'm a Niner fan, so there's something I'm pointing out, but I'm just curious if you think the rankings here make sense.
No.
What would you change?
Well, Dak wouldn't be 3.
We are not Cowboys fans. Just sorry, Cowboys. We're
Flacco,
not.
What, you're putting him there after 5 games? Seriously? I mean, the moon. If you remember the Super Bowl, that he threw that thing 70 yards straight up.
Oh, that was
and it
a
got completed.
Frustrating game. Anquan Bolden, I hate you so much.
Yeah, and you're putting a college guy ahead of Purdy. He hasn't played it down.
Not just one. We got Caleb Williams, USC. We got Jaden Daniels. I think it's LSU.
You want to put Lamar and Mahomes up there? That's fine.
Yeah.
Stafford you can do because he's won a Super Bowl. Stroud hasn't done anything more than Purdy. Absolutely not. Right? Flacco is literally, Anyway, I think it should be Lamar, Mahomes, Stafford, Purdy in that third row with whoever you want to put there.
We're gonna do one more because listen, dunking on.
Why did they not put Mayfield instead of Baker?
I don't know. That's actually a great question. I mean, they had Lamar instead of Jackson.
They put some first names and some last names. Isn't that weird?
I think it's something interesting that we do. For instance, like, we may say, Niners instead of something else. I think it's all dependent on.
It's like people saying Frisco.
That one I just.
Oh Lord.
Seeing if I can find it for you real quick because there was listen, full disclosure for everybody, I don't like Nick Wright. Now, I've told my dad, part of this is obviously I'm seeing, I'm getting upset about, quite honestly, a character. I get that. That I am allowing myself to be annoyed by someone playing a character on TV. Let's call a spade here.
True. It's almost like, you make the evil character, that's who they really are.
Right.
The guy that plays the great bad guy, and they're, that's the character they play.
Now, part of it for me is I stupidly, apparently, have an expectation that analysts who spend time on TV will actually be analysts. I'm not going to spend any more time on it because I can't find it. I saw it on my feed this morning. It was essentially Nick Wright saying he wished no one would talk about Shanahan and his QBs. I think that's something we'll talk about in the offseason of how, essentially how, lazy that is. Well,
it's an East Coast thing again. So you're okay. You're okay talking about who? Tua and his coach, or Dak and his coach, or I mean, what
Well, because the part that bothered me, and we'll be quick because we're about hour 20. I don't want to spend too much more time. We did good. We got our videos in. Obviously, it should go as also a little behind the scenes. We don't like looking like the Rams, so we'll be changing this layout. I'm going to be adding
we will.
A little ticker for you guys, so that when we're talking about a subject, you'd be like, oh, what are they talking about? You can kind of look at the ticker at the bottom. I'll obviously repeat it, but just a little another visual cue of like, where are they at? But the problem that really bothered me with Nick Wright was when he said, the discussion makes us all dumber. I was like, well, but you have an opportunity as an analyst with a TV show to go. He doesn't go deeper. He goes, well, he's just Jimmy Garoppolo 2.0. There's no, like, all I would like someone to do on his show is to go, okay, Nick, what do you mean it's a paint by numbers offense? Like, break that down for me, because he can't. But no one challenges him on that. And that's where I get frustrated is, hey, if you can articulate for me exactly how the Niners are essentially the same and it's all Shanahan, okay. Like, hey, I may disagree, but you've articulated to me a very good argument for why you believe what you believe. But just, it's a paint by numbers offense. Look, the stats are basically the same. You're like, okay, but you're not actually giving me concrete information that I can, look at and react to. You're just kind of giving me your spiel. Exactly. But we'll get into that in the offseason because something I'm also going to do with Rob is start talking, and we won't go too technical, but there are things, especially as a player and as someone who's coached, that I can be like, hey, I used to do it. Why didn't he throw to that guy? Well, it wasn't in the progression, Russ. That wasn't even part of the play. And it's things as fans we don't factor in. So that's something I'm going to kind of abuse Rob.
Look, yeah, in the film that he wasn't going to be open. He was not a decoy, but that wasn't that. They
called a clearing route. Well, he's not part of the play. He's supposed to clear stuff out. Yep. But I think this is a good spot to kind of end it. Next week is all going to be college because it's kind of a dead week in the NFL.
Except Black Monday.
Oh, that's going to be part of it. So literally, just to give you guys a preview, it's going to be Harbaugh. It's going to be the young QBs who could or could not get fired. We might actually not. We might be reacting to those or seeing like, wow, this guy didn't get fired. What's awesome, and we talked about this, is it kind of flowed topic into topic into topic into topic because they're all kind of related.
Yes.
But we're probably going to be signing off here. I think this is a good spot to end it.
Yep. Hey, I want to end it with a quote for you guys. I saw this and I just thought it was super good. Success isn't owned. It's leased and rent is due every day. That's from J.J. Watt. So got to be paying your rent, buddy. Got to be paying your rent.
It's also why the NFL is the best every single week, man. You have to earn that win.
You have to earn it. There's no. Woo. I mean, Eagles found that out. I hate to say that, but they found that out. That wasn't a given.
Nope.
2-14. They should have anyway.
Honestly, it's why the storylines in the NFL are the best. It's a long season, lots of up and downs. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see. We're going to be here every Friday, unless what's the hell freezes over, creek rises, whatever the thing is. So